What's going on, YouTube? Mr. Wheels here once again, bringing you another episode of Sports Talk, and this is the second half of my 2014 MLB season preview. This time it'll be in the National League. I will put the video for the American League preview in the description box below. I'd ask that you please like and subscribe to this video after I'm done. The support would be greatly appreciated, and let me know what you think. I'm not a huge baseball fan, so if you don't think I did a good enough job or you have something to say, by all means say it. This is just what I think about the upcoming season. Alright, so I want to start in the NL Central because I think it's going to be the tightest division in the National League, and I have the Dodgers winning this division pretty handily just because their rotation, even without Clayton Kershaw, they're going to be solid, man. Like Zach Greinke and I don't know how to say his name, but I think it's Ryu. Like guys like that are going to have to step up, but they've got a tremendous offense. The Dodgers are going to have to be able to play defense and stop other teams, but on paper these guys look, potentially untouchable, and they're not only my World Series, well, they're definitely my NLCS favorite, but they are a World Series favorite to me as well. So I have the Dodgers in first, winning the NL Central. The San Francisco Giants could potentially challenge them for the division because when you look at the Giants, they've got Madison Bumgarner, Tim Lincecum, Matt Cain. Those guys have been there for a few years now, and it doesn't even matter what their 4th and 5th guy does to me in the rotation. Their rotation's solid, and if they get if the guys on the field play well and support their pitchers, the Giants could easily win the Central if the Dodgers just tank at some point. But I expect the Giants to pretty much be a wild card team, and I have them second in the Central. Now that brings me to the Rockies and the Diamondbacks, because I think the Rockies these are two teams that have very good rotations, and I'm not going to get into it because it's going to take too long, but I have the Rockies in third in the NL Central, and I expect them to possibly be a wild card team, but the Diamondbacks could also get into that third spot and get into the playoffs through the wild card, because I think the Dodgers and the Giants will, they're not going to do it through the division. But the Rockies, Diamondbacks, it's kind of a tie for third, and that brings me to the Padres. They really didn't do very much last season, and I don't expect them to be a great team this season either. So I have them at the bottom of the Central and probably the bottom of the league as well. Now, let's move on to the NL East. The Washington Nationals. I think this is another team that they're a favorite of mine to get into the NLCS. And when you look at their offense, I'm expecting guys like Bryce Harper, Ian Desmond, Danny Espinosa, those guys to have a huge season, and they've got Steven Strasburg and other great pitchers there, so they should have no problem, in my opinion, winning the NL East. And in second, I have the Braves. I have the Braves in second, not because of their rotation. I think they have a fairly weak rotation. But offensively, they could put up the runs to, and get pitching to win more than a few tight games, and, just be better than a lot of teams, like some of the teams in their division. That brings me to the Philadelphia Phillies. I have them in third. They could surprise and sneak in through the wild card, but they've got some injuries right now, and I think that's going to hurt them at the start of the season. And I see them doing no better than third, and that could potentially help the New York Mets, who again they don't have a great rotation compared to some of the teams in the National League or even some of the teams in baseball, but they got Curtis Granderson and signed a few other guys that could end up surprising is my point. And finally, I have the Marlins again from 2 seasons ago when they went out and tried to buy their team. They were horrible last season. I really don't see them doing much better this season either. They're kind of in the same boat as the Astros and the Padres, in my opinion. They could surprise me, and I kind of hope they do, but I don't see them doing any better than 5th in the NL East. And that brings me to the NL West. And in my opinion, it's the tightest division in the NL and probably next to the AL East, probably in all of baseball. I have the Reds winning this division, but considering what the Pirates did last season, the Pirates could also challenge Cincinnati for first. The only thing I will say, because I have the Pirates in second, so the only thing I'll say about the Pirates is there's another team that could potentially be at the top of the wild card race, and the only thing is that they've lost some of their, like, A.J. Burnett is gone. He went to Philadelphia. Andrew McDonald moved on, and I could see them having some problems. Is my point there. And then I've got from there it's gonna, from there it's kind of dicey because I kind of have the Cardinals, the Brewers, and the Cubs. It's going to be so close between those teams. I'm sure everybody is counting the Cubs out because they've lost for so long, and they might do the same this season. They don't have on paper they don't have a spectacular team, but they were showing some promise in my opinion last year. They got some guys that could surprise. So I kind of see the Cubs in that 4th spot, and the Cardinals and the Brewers kind of tied for 3rd. It's going to be really tight. I don't have I can't give a definitive placing on any of those 3 teams because I expect it to be a bit of a dogfight. I just want to kind of recap the wild card picture, and again, this is just it's an estimate, it's a guess, but I could see the Diamondbacks, the Rockies, the Pirates being up there for one of the wild card spots, and then the Giants, the San Francisco Giants. I expect them to be a playoff team, and I think they're going to do really well. And I expect them to take one of the wild card spots, if not the Central Division, if something happens to the Dodgers. But my NLCS pick is the Dodgers and the Nationals, and I think the Dodgers will take it in 7 games. And they'll move on to play the Yankees in the World Series. So that's it. I'd like to remind you once again to like and subscribe to this video. Let me know what you think. If you made it to the end, put MLB in the description box below if you've listened to me for over 9 minutes. I'd like to thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.